I put 100 hours into making a brand new Bandlab preset just so you don't have to, and here's how I did it. Now, before I get into the video, there's a few things I want to clear up. Firstly, I want to thank you guys for 8,000 subscribers, man. This is actually like super crazy. I did not expect this. Also, my most popular video is a tutorial video that I didn't even expect to blow up like it did. 250,000 views in under a year is insane. And I truly want to thank you guys. And I hope that we can reach that milestone on every video. Again, I don't know how to say thank you enough, but thank you. Now, even though we hit 250,000 views, we are still, unfortunately, in the hood. So we got to keep making these videos so we can elevate and get higher, better production, better camera, better everything, bro. Or we're just going to be stuck here the rest of our life, okay? So we got to just, let's just keep the views consistent. But that's besides the point. Let's get straight into the video. Now, under my comments, a lot of questions have gone unanswered. And that's not without reason. The main reason that I don't reply to a lot of comments is simply because the answer to the questions are in the video that you're watching and commenting on. So I don't take that much time to really go back and comment because a lot of the questions have been answered. But there still are a few unanswered questions and questions that only can be answered with the video. So this is what this video is for. Today we're going to cover two main things. Well, really one main thing that can be two things. And that's going to be audio and beat mixing. How to get your audio to sound good on a beat and still be clear, have bass, hi-hats, all that crazy stuff. I know one of the biggest issues with Bandlab artists is that the final mix doesn't sound as good as it does in the studio on a speaker, and that is something that can be easily fixed. So let's get straight into it, bro. Enough yapping. Now, firstly, if you're even on this video, that means you already have a song complete and you're just trying to get to the mixing and mastering portion. So let's get into it. The first thing you want to do is open that Bandlab track, and then you're going to look at the top right hand corner. Now, if you're on PC, this is noticeable. If you're on mobile, there may be a different way to do it, and I'm going to show a screen recording here. But once you look at the top right of your Bandlab track, you're going to see a volume bar. Now, this bar is your master volume. This is the volume of every single track, every single item that is under it. So everything that is spoken on or has a beat on or anything attached to it will be adjusted with this bar. But it's all going to be adjusted simultaneously, meaning it's all going to be adjusted at the same time. Yeah, big words, I know. So this bar is something that you really want to pay attention to, not for the fact that you're going to move it, but for the fact that it has a visual animation that you need to pay attention to. And that animation is the coloring that it does. Now, this volume bar does two things. One of the things it does is allow you to adjust the master volume, which is the volume of the whole track. Another thing it does is that it's a visual representation of the sound of your track. Now, if this bar is consistently beaming red or consistently beaming orange and red, that's not a good thing. And that's a clear indicator that you need to fix something in your track. Maybe your beat is too loud, your vocals are too loud, or both. Something has to be fixed. Now, if this bar is continuously green on the low end though, that is also another issue. That means something is entirely too quiet. Usually it has more to do with your beat rather than your vocals, but it could be either or, so make sure to check it out. But a good mediator that your beat or your song is going to be good is that you want this bar to fluctuate between green and orange areas, barely touching the red, but at some points it can touch the red. Now, the red area is not entirely too bad. Those are just the high points of your vocals, the high points of your sound. It just means that you're attacking and hitting those high points more often. Now, when you're listening to music, you can hear when you hit a high point because it sounds a little bit off. An example here. Now, to break away from that, you want to have less of those red areas, but not remove them entirely. You do, like I said before, want fluctuation in your song, so high points are good only at some points. The entire song shouldn't be high point or red. And like I said before, this is only one of the many visual representations in music or in Bandlab that is actually going to help you mix and master your song. A lot of this mixing and mastering is visual, and you can see it before you can hear it, or you can hear it as well, but they work directly. Now, once you have this bar and you see the changes, you do not want to adjust it. Like I said before, this is just a visual representation. If the color is constantly red, then you want to tweak your beat or tweak your vocals. If the color is constantly green or on the low end, then you want to turn something up. In order to really catch and find what the issue is, this is the next step that I take. Now we're going to take our eyes away from the master volume and focus on the individual volumes. Before we focus on that though, we have to get into color coding. One of the most helpful and kind of useless things in Bandlab is color coding. Now, it doesn't directly help with your voice or anything like that, but it does help with visual representation. Now, what I generally do is have my beat one color, my vocals another color, and then my stabs and ad-libs a color as well. And this is called grouping, which I just group my audios in their own separate color-coded group so I know what I'm mixing. Not only is this helpful for me though, if I'm collaborating with other artists, they can see that I have my vocals grouped and they can see where they need to record, place their ad-libs, their vocals, or any other aspect of the song that they want to add. So now that we've established the colors, let's get to the volume bars. Generally, for a beat, you want your beat volume bar to be somewhat unchanged. Or if it is changed, you want as minimal of a range as possible. When I say a range, that's how far you turn it up or how low you turn it down. As far as the beat, I don't go above 2 decibels and I don't go under negative 2 decibels. That's my range, and I get anything in between that, nothing outside of that. As far as my vocals, I can fluctuate those a bit more than the beat, but those don't go above +5 or -2. The reason the vocals don't go as low is because the vocals are the main viewpoint of your music. That's the main reason people come to listen to you. A lot of people can rap on the same beat, but no one can execute it like you. So your vocals are the main thing that you want to be heard. Obviously, the beat is a good part of the song, but people are there for you and your vocals. So make sure those are heard before anything. And lastly are my stabs and ad-libs. Now these are kind of different, but they also work together. Your stabs, you want to be quieter than your vocals generally, never louder than your vocals, but they do put emphasis on your vocals. If you don't know what stabs or ad-libs are, there's a video explaining it, and I'm also going to be posting a new video soon, so make sure to check out for it. Now your ad-libs are the one that are the craziest and have the craziest range, because the strength of the ad-libs coincide with the song that you're making. If it's a rage song or a calm song, it truly just depends, because your ad-libs can be super loud or super quiet. That is when you just use your ears and you decide on your own. Now that we've established the volume bars and the color coding, it's on to the next step. Now that you've established your colors and your volume bars, it's the next step, and that's the preset. This is probably the main part about music. If you don't like mixing or mastering, if you have a good preset, then you really don't have to do much of that, just the small little tweaks. And this is probably the best preset for you to use, as it's been trending ever since I made it. And that's kind of crazy. I do want to appreciate you and thank you guys for that too, because that's also kind of crazy. Now, once you have a good preset on there, is now to the next step. Now that you know your master volume, you've color coded everything, you've adjusted your volumes, and you have your presets slapped on every single layer except your beat, it's time to exit that Bandlab Studio. Now, once you've exited the Bandlab Studio, you're going to be met with an interface with a volume bar that is a wavelength, basically. Now, like I said before, this is another instance where music is visual, and you're going to see everything you need to see. Now, this visual representation is a little bit easier to understand than the master volume bar because it's right in your face rather than something that's just adjusted periodically while the song is playing. This bar is going to help you indicate where your high points and your low points are. This interface is a visual representation of what your actual sound or song, whatever you want to call it, sounds like. Now, there's two things you want to look at in this visual representation, and that's going to be the highs and the lows. Your highs are going to be where your song has a threshold where it's the highest and it can't get anywhere above that, and that is visually shown with a bar that usually plateaus at a certain height. And when I say plateau, I mean it just flattens out. It can't get any higher than that. And if you have a consistency of these in your track or you visually see it, then that is a really big red flag. And also, like I said before, this is only visual for computer users on Bandlab, but if you do download the song to your files, you can see it on your mobile phone on the bottom bar right above the pause button. Now, like I said before, you don't want to see too many high points. If there's just a plateau as high as it can get and it can't get any higher than that, then that is a problem. That means something in your track is entirely too loud and it has to be adjusted. Now, if there's a consistency of lows and it's entirely too low, that's also another big issue. That means that either your vocals are too quiet or the beat is entirely too quiet, and that has to be adjusted as well. My favorite aspect about this is that this is kind of my final step to the recording process, as once I take a look at this and realize that everything is okay, then my song is basically done. Once you've made the necessary adjustments, it's time to get into the final step, and that's going to be the mastering part. Now, for me, there's only two main things that I look at, and that's going to be universal and clarity. Now, when looking and listening at these two, they might sound very similar, but the minute changes always mean a lot. Generally, I found that universal has helped emphasize my beat more, as well as making my vocals more jumpy with the beat. Generally, I found that clarity has made my audio as far as my main vocals as clear as possible, making it so that the viewer or the listener can hear every single word that I'm saying. Now, a little injection on what I was talking about before. With the wavelength, if you're seeing too many highs, that's a main reason of muffled audios. I know with a lot of Bandlab users, the big reason that they don't drop their music is because in studio, it doesn't sound the same way as it sounds on a speaker or on a phone, and that's because of muffling. Now, a big fix to muffling is looking at this visual bar and noticing those highs and those lows. Like I said before, if there's too many highs and there's just a plateau, your audio is going to muffle entirely, and that is a no-go. So make sure to fix this immediately by adjusting the audio or the beat on the spot. And once you made all of these final changes, you should have a completed track. And it's not a completed track until you at least show a friend or a family member to get their confirmation on the sound. Now, at the end of the day, you always make music for yourself to make yourself happy and not to please anyone else. But it's also always good to have a second ear in your music. Someone that is not gonna deride you or be too fond of you. You know what I'm trying to say. Someone that's going to be completely and brutally honest with you. Because at the end of the day, they're listening as a first listener. So whatever they feel may be what another person feels like when listening to your music. So it's always good to have a second ear. Now, that is all for today's video, but I promise I have more videos on the way. Consistency is coming. I promise. Stick with me. We're going to be back in college soon. I have more music on the way. Check what's out now. I love you guys. Peace. We almost had a war.
Iran. I'm talking direct to y'all. Don't do it, because that ain't what you want.
KD got traded.
Jesus Christ, K. Bam sent me the picture and said there's no way K is this ashy.
And my attempts at a job application have failed. So it's the next step. By the end of this month, I'm hitting 10K subscribers. I got something pretty special planned.
Yeah, boy.
Slowly, over the past 2 years, I've built connections with artists and producers alike, and this is what I've been waiting for. And in this time, I've also accumulated over 30K followers across all of my platforms. So I wanted to take that to help everybody else. Before the end of this summer, I'm gonna hit 10K subscribers on YouTube. And for that, I want 15 contestants, producers, rappers, artists alike, and they're gonna battle to the top 2 in a Song Wars by me. It will be a bracket and there will be a cash money prize. So anybody that comments below has a free entry.